Bienvenidos a todos. Siéntese, por favor. Please be seated. After all the news from our southern border, mostly not so good, I'm here to bring you good news, really, really good news. Because today we celebrate 15 years of our mission of outreach to Vida Joven de Mexico, our orphanage in Tijuana. This is the good news of Jesus Christ in action and in love. Today, Isaiah tells us, if you offer your food to the hungry and satisfy the needs of the afflicted, then your light shall rise in the darkness, and your gloom be like the noonday. These are strong words. And this is what we're doing at Vida Joven de Mexico, our little foster home, some people call it an orphanage, in Tijuana. For those of you who don't know about Vida Joven, here's a brief summary of what we're all about. We support Vida Joven to love, protect, and educate some 20 to 30 children. These kids have been abandoned either because their parents are in prison or incapacitated by drugs. And we've had some kids come to us that have even been wandering the streets of Tijuana at 2 or 3 in the morning. Pretty awful. It is thanks to Stephen Velez-Confer and many others, some of whom are here today, that Vida Joven exists at all. Because the devoted and dedicated people who had started the house by sheltering a number of kids who were incarcerated with their parents in a much failed Mexican government pilot project to have the children go with the parents. And in doing so, they saw all kinds of unsavory things, needless to say. So these wonderful people from Orange County and Los Angeles decided to do something about it. And they finally did for several years. And then they ran out of fundraising ideas, and they ran out of steam, basically. And the house was going to have to close. Well, our former dean, Scott Richardson, sent some lay people and clergy down to assess the situation, see what was what could we do to help, if anything. We decided on the way back in that van full of people, after much prayer, that we must take this project on. So we did. And today we celebrate with a fiesta in honor of Vida Joven and its mission of love. Now at this time, I'd like to introduce several of those responsible for carrying out this loving mission. Sylvia Labarin, past director of the Casa and current chair of the Mexican board of Vida Joven, is with us today. She needs very little introduction to most of you. Please greet Araceli, our new director of the Casa. Beth Beal, the executive director of the U.S. Board of Directors, is right back there, just raised her hand. And they will be available to meet with you after the service at 10:30 when we have our Nacho Fiesta. They would love to meet with you. And for the first time ever, we've been able to get some of the graduates of the program up here. We've always tried for years to have the children come here so that you could meet them in person and see what we're talking about and about whom we are talking. Well, this year, finally, we succeeded in getting 1 or 2 of them up here, and we are very happy. They will be happy to chat with you outside at the Nacho Feast if you would like to do that. Feel free to ask any of us questions about the program or anyone about it at all. Now, I would like to mention, too, that this program got organized because of the efforts of many people, including the late Stephen Velas-Confer, some of whom are here today in this room. The devoted and dedicated people who had started the house really are happy that we were able to take over. So, again, we celebrate with a fiesta in honor of Vida Hoven and its mission of love. Now, what do we do down there? We take trips. This is how you can get involved. We take trips down there a couple of Saturdays a month, usually toward the end of each month. We color, we decorate, we play games with the children, and I'm going to warn you that most of them like to win at all costs. So just be prepared for a little humility. Actually, I'm the mentor of one of them named Antonella, just as an example. Antonella is extremely bright, does extremely well in school. She's the youngest in a family in which she's the only girl, so she's a bit competitive and attitudey. And she'll do anything to win. I have never won a game against Antonella, and I don't think anybody else has either. There are also medical and dental teams that go down to the house on a regular basis to help examine the children and see what further things they might need to have done for them in the way of medicine and dental health. And all this we do with great joy because we're living Jesus' message of love, literally living out the good news of the gospel. And that is worth everything. So let's remember this. These are all our children, your children, and my children, our children. So let's all celebrate the good news of Jesus Christ in action by going to see them, by supporting them us financially, all of our efforts. That would be great. And it's just before Marcia Laborin, Sylvia's niece, comes up to the pulpit, which she will share with us and have some words to say about the ongoing programs and some of the children in particular that you'll hear stories about. So remember, actions speak louder than words. Please get involved. Marcia?
Good morning. Thank you, Reverend Ford, and thank you, St. Paul's, for this opportunity to share the stories of the children of Vida Joven, as Joan said, our children. Because you are our dear friends, you are our family, we want to share with you one of our favorite, most amazing, heartwarming, heartbreaking, wonderful stories. Vida Joven, Dorcas House still for some of you, is a safe haven for children who have been abandoned or have a parent that is incarcerated. Our mission is to see these children become productive, decent human beings. We want them to have a future that is blindingly bright. At first, when I was trying to figure out how to tell the story, what to tell about the story, I literally sat in front of a blank page for about 2 or 3 hours. There's so much to say, so many wonderful things to say. I thought about who played what role in the story, and it turns out that we all do, all of us. Mati and her daughters are our story. Mati, her husband, and 2 children, Darani and Fernanda, traveled from Veracruz, Mexico, which is closer to the southern coast of Mexico, to Tijuana, in search of a better and brighter future. What followed was a series of unfortunate events. Dad got into some trouble and was sent to the penitentiary, which back in the day was called El Pueblito, the little town, which it was. Families lived in the jail. Mothers, fathers, children, everybody inside the jail. Not the most ideal situation. Mati, that's mom, did not want her children living in the jail. And she couldn't afford to live on her own. She didn't have enough money. She was always working, but money was never enough. She heard about Vida Joven from one of her co-workers. Now, Vida Joven was pretty much across the way from the penitentiary, literally, just across the way. So Mati, with a broken heart, took her daughters by the hand and walked them to Vida Joven. Unknowingly, she made the most important, life-changing decision for her and for her daughters. She went up to the gate. Meche, who is our cook, still around, still at the casa, asked her what she needed. Mati said, well, I hear they care for children. And Mati said, this isn't a daycare. This isn't a daycare facility. And Mati said, well, my husband's in jail. That changes everything. We care for children whose parents are incarcerated. Come on in, the director is right in the office. And according to Mati, out came their fairy godmother. Out comes Sylvia. Sylvia heard her story and opened her heart and the doors of Vida Joven to Mati and her 2 daughters. Through the years, many things happened. The girls went to school, they thrived, and Mati would come and visit them every day, see them off to school, make sure they were okay, because of course, the girls wanted to be with their mother. But as time passed, they became happier at Vida Joven, as we all do. Mati was always looking to do what was best for her daughters. She had many jobs, including one as dressing up as a baby, promoting Pampers diapers. Even though many things changed in their lives, Vida Joven was and is a constant. Their story is so amazing that I could go on, but I'll move forward. Mati, Darani, and Fernanda continued to work towards a better life. Mati has returned to Vida Joven as a house mom. She wanted to give back to the home that gave her so much, so she is now working there as one of the mothers at the home. Darani has recently graduated from law school. She is a lawyer. And Fernanda will, this coming October, graduate as a fitness and health specialist. She wants to open her own gym. On behalf of Fernanda and Darani and all the children of Vida Joven, we thank you. None of this blinding brightness, none of this future could have been possible without you. With all our hearts, we thank you.